Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Amelia Lee. The election is just 10 days away, and groups are continuing to campaign to get votes. Public education advocates gathered at the Appalachian Arts Alliance in Hazard as part of the Protect Our Schools Kentucky Votes No on Number 2 Homestretch Tour. President of the Kentucky Education Association, Eddie Campbell, says his experience in the public school system led him to advocate for public schools to get all the resources they need.
As a public school educator, I'm a big advocate for our public schools. As a product of public schools, I know what public schools do to change the lives of students every single day. So making sure that our public schools are fully resourced, have educators that are there welcoming students every day, that's important for every single community. Our public schools are the heart and soul of every community all across the Commonwealth.
It was alluded to in... While those against Amendment 2 refer to it as a voucher amendment, supporters argue Amendment 2 is about Kentucky parents being in control of their children's education, saying parents deserve schools that reflect their values. An 11-person field is set for a historic 29th District State Senate write-in campaign. And here are the candidates. Tyler Ward of Whitesburg, Willie Crass of Garrett, Paul Williams of Prestonsburg, Leonard Hedrickson of Pinetop, Tanner Hesterberg of Prestonsburg. Justin Noble of Emelina, who was endorsed Friday night by Governor Beshear, Valerie Eisenhorn of Whitesburg, John Clem of Cranks, Andrew Thomas Saylor of Waylands Creek, Craig Blackburn of Prestonsburg, and Pineville Mayor Scott Madden, who received an endorsement from the Senate Republican Campaign Caucus Committee. The winner will serve a 4-year term representing Bell, Harlan, Letcher, Knott, and Floyd counties. The deadline to file was Friday afternoon. The write-in campaign was set in motion after the death of State Senator Johnny Turner on Tuesday. Yesterday, we learned his funeral arrangements. The visitation will be November 1st, Friday evening from 4 until 7 at the Harlan County High School Auditorium. Turner's funeral mass will be Saturday, November 2nd at 11 at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Harlan. The burial for Turner will be at the Rest Haven Cemetery in the Keith community. Turner was 76 years old. As the election draws near, campaign signs are popping up on lawns everywhere. This is the first election under a new Kentucky state law taking power away from some homeowner associations that might try to ban them. But David Mattingly finds the law is creating some conflict.
When did you first put this out?
I put it out about a week ago.
And how long before you heard from the HOA?
Less than 24 hours. We got our first email. Yes. Yeah, it was really quick.
This is the first time Leanna Servant ever put up a yard sign supporting a candidate. She thought the new state law, KRS 381.800, overruled her HOA's ban on political signs. But almost immediately, her HOA still told her to take it down.
They were ensuring that HOAs were not going to be able to bully people into not being able to use them.
Do you feel like you're being bullied right now?
I do.
Servant received multiple emails telling her she's breaking their rules. She also got a letter telling her she has to take the sign down and pay the HOA's attorney fees. I called the attorney representing the HOA, and he tells me that his firm represents many HOAs in the Louisville area. And this new state law, he says, has created a new layer of confusion for this election cycle. But in this case, the law is on the HOA side. The reason for this is easy to miss. Another provision in the state law, KRS 381.786, says HOA bans on political signs are okay if they happen before June 29, 2023. The law only applies to HOA bans that come after.
Any new HOAs or planned communities will also be governed by 381.800 and will be unable to impose a political sign restriction.
In the case of Leanna Servant's yard sign, documents from her HOA show a sign ban dating back to July 1997. She's now considering her options.
I think I'll talk about it with my husband. I
would prefer to stay within the bounds of the law. I do know that this particular HOA has no provision against flags, so a flag might be going up at that point.
Again, here is just one more reminder that Election Day is right around the corner. Early in-person voting in Kentucky starts Thursday, October 31st. Mail-in absentee ballots must be received by 6 o'clock on Election Day, November 5th, to be counted. If you are registered to vote, you can find election guides, polling locations, and sample ballots at govote.ky.gov.
What a day of weather we had. It did start off a little wet, especially in the southern parts of the viewing area, but as for the rest of the day, temperatures were beautiful. Let's take a look at the map, see those observed highs. We actually got into the low to mid 70s if you're in Middlesboro, Harlan, Jonesville, and Jacksboro. Everywhere else stayed in those mid to high 60s. And then right now we're looking at temperatures in those mid 40s and then a couple more low 50s. Overall though, pretty nice night. Definitely want to grab a sweater if you have to go out anymore. And overnight lows going to drop a little bit lower. We could see some high 30s, but mostly going to be those mid to low 40s. Coming up in your first alert forecast, we're going to talk about how much rain we did get over the last 2 days and how that puts us for the month, a cooler Sunday, and then how that warm weather continues next week. Amelia?
Drake, thank you. I can't wait for that cooler weather tomorrow. Well, thousands of self-help books have been published. Some say one of the most influential is Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now the Napoleon Hill Foundation is making it easier for folks to get access to his works. WYMT's Austin Hicks has the story.
You can't be a happy individual just because you've accumulated a lot of toys. You got to get involved in making a difference in other people's lives.
That was a well-known saying from author and Pound native Napoleon Hill. Hill was a self-made entrepreneur, salesman, and lecturer who went on to write some of the most influential self-help books, selling more than 10 million copies. Now his works and legacy are stored in the Napoleon Hill Foundation building at the University of Virginia's College at Wise, and the foundation is now working to share those works with future generations.
A legacy that will never die but transform the entire world. What Napoleon Hill was able to conceive in the early 1900s is more applicable today than it was when he wrote it.
Hill's works have impacted the lives of thousands throughout the world, and by making those works digital, they will be able to impact and change the lives of generations to come.
Our goal is to bring it into every home for children, in the school system, in corporations, stay-at-home moms. I want to help the woman, I want to help the children, and also businesses to flourish, because this material saved my life as well. These principles completely saved my life.
Hill was born in southwestern Virginia. After the coal industry died down, folks searched for a new way to make a living. Don Green of the Napoleon Foundation says Hill's works are beneficial to anyone who reads them.
It's a matter of education, studying how these other people have done it and learning from them. And that's what it's all about.
The Napoleon Hill Foundation has a success program at the university which teaches students the principles of Napoleon's works. NY's Austin Hicks, WYMT Mountain News.
Works from other influential self-help authors will also be digitized for future generations to have. The London Police Department arrested a man after finding stolen firearms and other contraband. 40-year-old Jared Cupp is facing a slew of charges following a search warrant of a home. Cupp is charged with receiving stolen property, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Officers say they are continuing to investigate. Today, folks in Kentucky got rid of unneeded medications in a safe way. LMPD partnered with Norton Healthcare, area Kroger's, and the DEA for a drug take-back day. Locations around Louisville were open for people to drop off unused or expired pills, liquids, gels, and patches. The event aims to cut down on the amount of medications that are unsafely disposed of.
Well, I know it's not safe to put them down the drain. It will eventually get into the river, and who knows if everybody did that, we don't know what would happen or how it would affect us.
If you missed today's drop-offs, there are plenty of year-round disposal sites.